Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Darren Taylor. Today we'll be talking about the upcoming production by Troy's Theater Department. The director, Quinton Cockrell, is here to talk to us about The Crucible. Quinton, thanks for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me.
And The Crucible, well known, probably the best telling of one of the, more weird times in American history,
Yes.
especially for this time of year appropriate. Talk a little about The Crucible.
The Crucible is a retelling of the Salem witch trials that happened in Salem, Massachusetts in 1692. Some girls fell ill, and from that, a lot of stuff broke loose. They started accusing people of witchcraft, and by the time it was over, 19 people were hanged. So Arthur Miller did a lot of research into the history of that time and wrote a play about it.
And now, obviously, a lot of people have seen various interpretations, both extreme fictional and probably a little bit more accurate depictions of the Salem witch trials over the years. But this, like I said, this was probably the most famous presentation of that. And so, how is it to live up to the expectations of a performance of this type that's been seen so many times or put on so many times in so many different venues?
It's really it's difficult at the beginning. Before you start, it's really difficult. But once you get into it and you fall in love with that play, and that play starts talking to you, as one of my mentors says, it becomes easier because you forget about all the outside stuff falls away. But it is daunting when you look at it and you see how well written it is. And Arthur Miller's account is really pretty historically accurate. He, added a little romance in there that sort of went bad and got everything going. He took a little bit of license with that, but a lot of the characters are straight out of the history books. So there's a lot there to explore, and so you don't really have time to worry about it. You just do it.
And talking about that, how much in the preparation of the cast and yourself have you gone back and looked at some of the historical references, or are you just going by the book and working with what you've got there?
As the director, I believe, I started, when I realized we were doing this, it was last spring, so I started almost immediately reading as much as I could about Arthur Miller. I think I read 4 biographies, looked at every play that he ever wrote to see what common themes, because our job is to interpret. What is this writer trying to say? And I want to make sure that I'm true to that. So I spend a lot of time. I encourage my cast to spend time researching their characters. Other than that, we do spend a lot of time in the text trying to wring it for everything that we can.
And of course, the interpretation of the Crucible is always an interesting concept, because a lot of people like to take the Crucible and the themes and the witch hunts and relate it to the modern world. But I would assume this is something because they originally think, oh, this is colonial times, but it does have themes that hold true to this day.
Oh, most certainly. Arthur Miller wrote it in response to what was going on with the communist witch hunts, in the mid-20th century. And I think there are a lot of things that relate today. The dangers of theocracy, of mixing state and religion too much. I don't know what we're willing to do to each other in order to save ourselves, and how power can manipulate us, the common folk, with fear.
And of course, I guess it doesn't hurt to have a witch-themed production around the Halloween time. So.
Around Halloween, that was a stroke of luck, I think, a coincidence. Yes. But it worked out well, as those things do.
And of course, now let's talk a little about the production itself and when folks can see it. It's going to be a part of an already action-packed weekend here at Troy University, but it gives opportunity to shoe in a little bit of non-athletic fun to the homecoming weekend. Talk about the performances.
It is homecoming week. Our opening is on October 14th. Performances this year start at 7 o'clock, not 7:30. That's been a change. But October 14th at 7, 15th, 16th.
And that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yes, and then Saturday we're taking off, so everybody can, go to
Enjoy
the
the
game.
game.
And then there's a Sunday matinee, which is the 18th, and our final performance is a Monday, which is the 19th.
All right.
And all those evening performances are at 7.
And so, and a lot of opportunity to see it. And where is it going to be?
It's at the Trojan Center Theater,
Theater.
and tickets are available at the Trojan Center box office.
Okay. And obviously, not a very big house.
Right.
It's a sizable house, but tickets for your performances go fast.
They go very quickly. We sell out quite often.
So an opportunity, anybody who wants to get a ticket, they need to probably get on the ball and get that. So,
Exactly.
All right, Quinton, we'll break a leg with the performance of the Crucible, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Aaron.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.